Hi, it's Scandinavian Bob here coming at you with video number 3 in the dopamine series. Now that we know how to increase dopamine and how to upregulate receptors, there is one last thing we need to talk about when it comes to dopamine, and that are the things we must be careful with so you don't burn out the precious dopamine receptors. This is something you just have to know, so stay with me to the end of the video. Okay, so what burns out the dopamine receptors? Well, it's kind of ironic that it is dopamine itself that is the cause of burnt out receptors. But not so fast here, because listen to this. You see, that only happens if dopamine is too high for too long. If the brain gets overstimulated by massive amounts of dopamine, it starts to protect itself by knocking out a few receptors. This happens if we use something called supernormal stimulus. So what the hell is a supernormal stimulus then? Well, to put it simple, a supernormal stimulus is something that is far more stimulating for the brain's reward system than our caveman ancestors could ever find in nature. If you want to learn more details about this, then go watch the video Is Anxiety Getting Worse?, where I explain exactly how supernormal stimulus kills your dopamine receptors. I can put a link to that video under this video. But for now, let's just take a look at the supernormal stimulus. If you eat a lot of fast food, your brain is likely to knock out some of your dopamine receptors. Did you know that most fast food restaurants sell food with the exact correct balance between sugar and fat to create what they call a bliss point? The bliss point is when we get the highest dopamine spike we can get from eating food. Now, of course, they do this to get us hooked so we come back again and again and again. The problem is, well, it's unhealthy in the first place, but if we do it often, the bliss point is strong enough to knock out our dopamine receptors. So, if you like fast food, just try to eat it no more than a couple of times a month. No one should be eating fast food several times a week. Then we have a lot of people becoming addicted to internet, smartphones and social media. Literally addicted, and all addictions, and it does not matter what addiction it is, knocks out some of the dopamine receptors. Yes, even internet use if you constantly keep chasing the new and next exciting thing. Here's the deal. Whenever you notice that you are chasing something on the internet, and as soon as you find what you think you are chasing, but then you only consume it for a minute and then you go chase the next thing, well, then you should know that you are now riding on a dopamine stream. And if you keep your chase going for long, your receptors will suffer. One example of this is internet pornography. You click to one scene, but as soon as you have watched 30 seconds, you start chasing the next clip, and the next clip, and the next. Stop doing that, because even though I have no moral problems with porn, this is bad for the brain. And it's bad because you constantly keep clicking from scene to keep your dopamine elevated for a long time in an unnatural way. So now some of you may be thinking, so what about real sex then? Real sex also increases dopamine, right? Yes, it does, but you can't click from scene to find a new partner every 30 seconds when you have real sex. So in real life, the dopamine rises like it should, but it begins to come back down after just a few minutes, all in a normal and healthy way. While on the internet, you can keep it going almost endlessly, and by doing that, you are overriding your natural satiation mechanism, and therefore you are burning out your receptors. So what should I do then? Never ever again eat fast food, use internet porn, never again chase something on internet hours at a time? Or should I never again use alcohol? And should I delete all my social media platforms that I'm addicted to? No. That won't be necessary. But the point of my video is to make you aware of it so you can limit your use. You will come a long way by cutting down a bit of your fast food and perhaps try to get a real partner instead of using internet pornography. Or if you don't want a real life partner, then perhaps cut it down from using 5 times a week to using it once every other week, for example. Use your own good judgment here, and just know that too much of a good thing makes you suffer in the long run. This is why instant gratification tends to come back and bite us if we have a habit of doing it too much. So in conclusion, some use is okay as long as you are not using it too often and as long as you are not using it like a drug or an escape mechanism, like a lot of people do, where you use it in a way to try to escape from your life. That is a very destructive way, because if you are using supernormal stimulus as a way to escape from your life, you will only set yourself up for long-term suffering. If you recognize yourself in this, then try to cut it out and instead try to improve your life, one piece at a time. Set goals and keep building slowly and set more goals, and eventually you won't even feel the need to escape from your life. I hope this video has been informative, and if you found any value in it, please consider subscribing by pressing the little circle right here. And also press the little bell icon under the video to make sure you get every notification. Also, comment something under the video to let me know that you watched it. I would love to hear from you. Okay, that's it for today. This is Scandinavian Bob signing out. Keep going and stay strong.